Hello guys, welcome to a new video on Tower of God New World. And in this video, I wanted to do an update on the beginner guide because a lot of people started out on anniversary. We received on Discord a lot of questions from new player on what to pull for, what to do, etc., etc. So I figured I'd make a video to try and address those kind of questions. I'm not really going to do a full guide because we already have one that was made by Archer Q, and it is this one that you can see now on the screen. There is a lot of information on what to pull, what to do, how to get more resources, why certain units, which kind of rewards you can expect, what to do, blah blah blah, etc. etc. A lot of good stuff, a lot of useful information. The only issue here is that it is not up to date with the anniversary. So the first choices on where to pull might be a bit outdated. So yeah, that's the whole reason why I decided to make a new video on it. So I decided to go for a Q&A kind of format instead of doing a sort of wall of, well, it's already a wall of text, but more like a guide kind of thing. No, I just wanted to do questions and answers so that maybe it might be a bit easier. If you have additional questions, feel free to drop them down below in the comments. I will add them to the tab that I will add to my spreadsheet. So you will find them there. And also I will reply to the comment, obviously. But yeah, this is kind of the idea. Let me know if it makes sense to you and if you would like to have some more information in general. Now, the first point is exactly what we're going to get for our anniversary, and we will get 5 codes that will give us normal summons, random SSR plus unit, so the 60 SSR plus shards, an SSR plus selection box, an SSR selection box, and 111 keys. Now, these random SSR plus unit will have kind of a impact if you want to go for a more of a rerolling strategy. I know there are a lot of people that reroll. In this game is not really that important, but these random SSR plus unit that you get with the code kind of changes things, I would say, because if you can start with a Data Machine or Data Zahard, that is going to be pretty impactful, especially because you're going to get a lot of other SSR plus units for free. And those two units are going to act as frontline units that you're going to lack quite a bit of in the early game. So extremely helpful. And if you're not against rerolling, I would say just give it a shot like 3-4 times and see if you can get one Data Machine or one Data Zahard. But don't worry too much if you cannot. You always have the SSR plus selection box for later on if you end up needing one of those. This is just a small recommendation. We are also getting 2 banners with this anniversary. The first one is the special banner for the anniversary for Plus unit, which is Iwayon. By the way, we're getting one free copy of this unit as soon as you log in during the anniversary period. She's perfectly fine, no dupes. You don't need to get her to Rainbow 5 or whatever. And she's pretty much like Evan in the sense that from 0 dupes to Rainbow 5 is basically the same unit and only gets really better at Rainbow 5. So it's not a worthwhile investment for free-to-play players that just started out. But her Rainbow 5 with Revolution 5 upgrade is really insane. So might be worth a shot if you are a veteran player or whatever. But for new player and free-to-play players, just get our no dupes like the one you're given for free and don't even try to pull on this special summon banner. I would say that's my recommendation. You have other things to pull for at the moment. The second banner we get for anniversary is this non-stop SSR Plus Limit Break Summon banner. And in here you can pick a unit and you're going to be given 900 summons for free at a 1% rate and 300 PD. So you can get around 12 copies more or less guaranteed. And that will be around 3 red. This is quite a lot, but me personally and also a lot of other people were expecting at least a 2% rate. 1% is kind of low. And so the plans of going for units that require Rainbow 5 is kind of gone, I would say. And the units you could pick are Ren, which I think is the best pick. That guy is a green tanky slash DPS unit that will really carry you through a lot of content. Might not shine early on because you're going to face red element enemies and you also don't have access to ignition weapons, and it kind of needs some of those. And before 3 red is also kind of average. Let's say 1 red or even 1 purple could already be fine, but yeah. A 3 red is already almost top of his shape, like it is really, really good at 3 red. Will get better with Rainbow 5 and all the investment in Revolution, sure, but 3 red is already really, really solid for him. So yeah, that's my first option, I would say. Second one would be Viol, if you decide to skip for Vankel. That guy is also a monster of 3 red. Jin Sung-ha, also a really good pick. Uh, kind of needs at a certain point Rihanna build as a set to just one-shot a lot of units. But I mean, it works pretty fine. You don't necessarily need more than 3 red on him early on. So he's also a nice pick if you wanted to. Child Yuri is also a good option. It's just harder to use compared to the other 3 options that I just mentioned. But you can definitely pick her as well. She shines at Rainbow 5. She's kind of weak before then, but you can still pull something off if you have the right resources. Now, the other super important thing we get is the free maxed out SSR unit. If you go to the event, you see the first anniversary reward festival. Unfortunately, this one, I'm recording this video like on a Monday evening. So we still have 22 days and 4 hours, but by the time this video is out, we might be in the 21 days like deadline or whatever. And we have to do mission for 21 days. So you kind of have to join the game now or you're kind of screwed, kind of. So remember to, if you're wondering if you want to play this game or not, just do it. Create the account now, and then you can think about it. If you end up not liking the game, you can just drop it. But if you're in doubt, do it because this reward is really, really important. And a free maxed out SSR unit is extremely relevant early on. So you definitely don't want to miss out on that. And that's pretty much all for what we're getting for our anniversary. I'm going to talk about who you should summon for if there are any changes to what ArcherQ recommended. I would say what was recommended definitely stands. You want to go for Hiwa, Yeon, the yellow one. First, you want to get her to Rainbow 5 and get the free copy of Evan. It's going to be super important. How many pulls that will take, that will depend on you, on your luck, but usually 250 should do the job. 300 more like is more likely. 350 is a bit unlucky, I would say, from my point of view. So you might be careful if you are one of those that needed 350 pulls. That's going to be a point of attention for the thing I'm going to mention after this banner. But yeah, you have to max her in this banner and you will get a lot of resources from this game. So you can definitely manage to pull all of those summons over the first 3 days, probably even over the first 1.5. Afterwards, you want to save all your resources until Evankel banner. This is more or less the consensus and is a really good opportunity to get an SSR plus unit maxed out for cheap, which is really insane, guys. Really, really insane because SSR Plus units for free-to-play players are extremely expensive to max. So this is a great opportunity, and SSR Plus units get crazy good with Revolution. So she will be an awesome carry for you and will never disappoint you, but you gotta pull for her at Rainbow 5. Not Rainbow 5 Evankel kind of sucks. So that's the problem. That's why I'm telling you, just pull for Hiwa as soon as possible, as soon as she's Rainbow 5. Stop spending your Suspendium, your normal tickets. Just save until the last day of Evankel banner. Or if you see, like in the first couple of days of Evankel banner, that you can for sure get to 700 summons, then you can already start pulling for some so that it will help you out a bit in progressing and getting some additional rewards. But in general, you could wait for the last day, see how many summons you can pool, and if it's around 700, you should be getting close enough to Rainbow 5 to make it worth. If it's around 600, that's a bit tricky, but you could integrate with additional stuff, some additional pools on the black market or opening the SSR Plus selection box, stuff like that. Sure. If it's 550 or below, I wouldn't probably bother with this unit, to be fair, because really she wants Rainbow 5. That's the main problem with that unit. So yeah. That's pretty much all I wanted to tell you guys for this banner, I would say. You could skip Evankel and just start by saying, okay, I want to max Hiwa, you were unlucky, you took like 350 summons. It will reduce your chances of getting Evankel to Rainbow 5. And you might say, okay, then I will go for Joaquin. This is also an option. This will speed up your progression in pushing a lot more as compared to going at the Evankel route. Evankel is better because it has better value in the end, but Joaquin is also a good option if you want to push the tower earlier, get higher links, etc. etc. An Evankel player will most likely pass you sooner or later, so that's still the best way, but it could also be worth just trying to push a lot more quickly early on and yeah, just stock up on some resources. So that's also an option. And yeah, both of them have pros and cons. I will just leave you the final decision, obviously. Uh, Personally, Evankel is the one that has the most value. So I usually always go for most value in all my decisions. So I'd probably pick that one. Now, the other thing to mention is that you will still have to pull for units in the standard banner because we get free, like 5 free pulls every day. And which unit should you put in the wish list? I would say for the first 3 days, while you still have Hiwayan, the yellow one, welcome banner, you can put her as the rate up so that you have a chance of getting like one copy, and that will probably save you a few tickets, like 10, 20, who knows. That could be extremely good. So it's something I would do for the first 3 days or until you have her max. Obviously, as soon as you, like if you hit her max on day 2, you don't need to have her in the wish list on day 3. That's pretty obvious, but I'm still going to say that. So that's the first rate up I would put. Then the other 4 units could be like supports because you're mainly going to get DPS units from the Nonstop banner, Evankel banner, the SSR max limit break chest, etc. So you won't really need that many DPS units. You will already have them. So my recommendation would be to go for supports and obviously go for supports of the elements you're planning on using, which if you're going with Ren on the Nonstop banner, that's going to be green, Evankel red, and Hiwayon is going to be yellow. So for yellow, you really want to go with BAM, and that's pretty much all. Evan is going to be given for free, so those 3 are going to be your core yellow element. Then you want to go for some supports for Evankel, and for that one you want to go with like support Warion, super important. Xia is also a great option, and that's pretty much it, I would say. Other options for purple that you might not have picked as a DPS, but they will come in handy for later on. So do not add them in the like wish list just yet. Maybe add them later on. They're going to be Uraha and Kunagero. Those 2 units are pretty good, actually are super good for purple teams. But if you don't have a DPS for them, there is no need to pull for them yet. There is the option for Ren, and that support would be regular Leroro. That paired with the SSR plus Hiwa, they're going to be really, really strong. Then we have Blank for when you build the blue team, so probably not anytime soon, I would say. So pick just probably I would go for Bomb, Support Warion, Xexia, and regular Leroro to begin with. So those 4 units. And then for the 5th spot, you have the option of going with Tank and Dorsey, which is the green element that has just been added to the game. Really super strong, so that's definitely a great pick. Or Hats Dongai, which is the previous um, like SSR yellow tank that was released recently. Super strong as well and might really help you out. But if you have already like a Data Mashani or Zahard, you don't really need to go for Hats. Tank and Dorsey is still quite valuable, so I would still go for her. But Hats might not be that necessary just yet. Then for purple, you have the option of going with Vargarv, but I would recommend going for Karaka. Just a no dupe guy, no worries, just give him the exclusive equipment plus 30, which is pretty expensive early on, not gonna lie, but that's all he needs to just survive. And just give him ignition weapons, give him 4 pieces Miongo with nothing on, and it will just stack up resistances to survive. It will be fine. So those are kind of your options for the fifth spot. And another option could also be Vivi. She doesn't need Rainbow 5 to work, and a 3 red she will already be super strong. So that could be also an option if you wanted to go for an additional DPS, but you don't really need to that much. Now, if you are not a new player, you don't have access to the welcome banners, I would say if you're a returning player, you haven't been playing for like a lot of months and you don't have a lot of duped up units, you might think about like restarting with a new account because you do get access to those banners and they're pretty massive. So up to you. If you decide to stay, I would say the priorities didn't change much with SSR Revolution. They did improve the performance of some like units that were not in top shape, but like so far from testing and checking stuff, also together with other members of the community, didn't really seem like they can overtake the current meta units, which is a bit of a shame, but at the same time, it just means like they are now viable, but nothing insane, which is a good thing, I would say. We can just stick to the usual units and maybe add one or two changes here and there every now and then when we have more resources. So nothing will really change for you. Focus your carry units, then support them with the right units. That's pretty much it. If you have doubts, I would say past videos are going to be helpful for you on this topic. Nothing really changed much, in my opinion. Now, the next topic is going to be links. And for this, I'm not going to talk too much because there is already the topic on ArcherQ's guide. But here, you want to kind of go for a carry link, which is a link 20 levels higher than the rest. This is because it's the most cost-efficient way to get the most out of your teams. Your carry unit is most of the times the only unit that actually deals relevant damage on the fight to actually win it. Having the same level would just cost you more resources because having one link higher, like the cost for a single upgrade, like in my case, it's 75 million link XP. This one is 66 million. Okay, actually, they kind of leveled the cost amount, so it doesn't change that much. But early on, it will change a ton, like the amount of resources you need for every level up. So getting one carry link is the most cost efficient way to get the most value out of your DPS. If they're all the same, the supports will not really do much even if they have a high link. It's better if all your resources are spent on one link, get it 20 level higher, and your DPS unit will just delete the opposing team. That's all they need to do. That's more or less the logic. Regarding ranks, you kind of want to get to A rank as soon as possible to unlock the Origin Orb system. And then in the Origin Orb system, you want to focus on the first half of the tree up to this swiftness upgrade for every single element before moving on to the second part. And actually, for the second part, you can really wait a long time because you need a lot of soul crystals and a lot of suspendium. So just stop at swiftness and obviously prioritize the colors you are using, your strongest colors first and the weakest one later. This is more or less how you want to go about it. Then the next question is, what should I spend my suspendium on? And I would say early on, you want to kind of focus on the welcome banners and in general, the normal and black market banners. Summoning in this game is extremely important, so you really want to focus your suspendium on that. The special banner for Hiwa, as I mentioned before, is not needed, but we're going to get another special banner. Most likely is not guaranteed that we're going to get the same kind of format, the same kind of banner, but it's likely for Yeon Hirang at the end of the month. And yeah, that one is going to be a DPS. Again, non guaranteed, but basically it is. So it might be worth a shot. It might be worth investing something on her, but we'll see. I will definitely max her out and let you guys know how she performs and how much investment she actually needs. So yeah, this is the main thing you should spend your suspendium on, just summoning. There is one shop that is kind of recurring. It should be monthly, but I'm not 100% sure. That is the 1000 suspension shop. In there are deals that all cost 1000 each. And there are some, like for most of the resources we have in the game. And there are like two for each. One will have a better value because you will get more pieces or yeah, more resources for 1000 suspendium, but you can buy them a very small amount of times. Then there is another pack with slightly lower value and you can buy them a few more times. Usually, I would say for free-to-play players, you can buy the resources you need, but only buy the bundles that have the highest value and smallest amount of like purchase times or whatever. Because yeah, you will end up wasting too much suspendium if you do empty the shop. I would not recommend it for free-to-play players, but definitely if you are in lack of like exclusive equipment, mats, or the revolution mats, etc., do buy the ones that have the best value there. Okay. And one additional thing I wanted to mention that is also written here is the workshop store. Most of the things here for suspendium are traps. Extracts, too expensive, don't buy them. Gear, don't buy that, crazy expensive. Report is not that expensive, but there is no need to be honest, just wasted. This one is shit, it's not suspendium, is 1.25 100,000 whatever like coins. Crazy expensive for this, which is nothing. This is the biggest trap of all, never buy it. This is also quite expensive. I wouldn't do it because coins are extremely important in this game. But I mean, you could potentially do it every now and then, but highly not recommended. Like, do not do it. But it's not the end of the world. It is. I get this most of some other things, but really not necessarily don't do it. Coins are extremely important. What you want to get are these Link XP 24-hour boxes. They are sold for 320 suspendium. Definitely worth it, but you only get access to those after floor 21. The 24-hour coins are also good for 80 suspendium, and that's basically all you should buy with your suspendium. Nothing else. Okay, that's pretty much it. Now, if you need more Shinsu, one of the best options would be to refresh the agency service center using this button here. It only costs 100 and will refresh every mission that is not currently in progress. So if there is Shinsu, put it in progress and then refresh the rest. This I recommend doing it not that many times a day, especially if you're free to play, and only starting from level 7. That's when you get A rank missions. For free to play, I would say wait for level 8. That's the cap, and definitely wait for that. Don't do too many rerolls. Probably you could even do none, to be honest. But if you want to optimize, this is one of the cheapest ways to get your Shinsu. Probably also one of the main sources of Shinsu. That's it. Now, regarding resources, when should I use my resources? And by resources, I mean literally everything. Could be boxes, could be tickets, could be, yeah, all of these loot boxes, all of these crystals, all of these exclusive equipment extracts. When do I use them? When do I open the SSR selection box, the SSR plus selection box, etc.? Now, this is a rule of thumb I usually follow, and that is I push as much as I can, and when I'm stuck, I will try to figure out why that is the case. So let's say I fail at a stage for 10 times in a row, and I'm like, well, what is going on? I look the fight like with a lot of attention. I see, okay, my front line is dying too quickly. I try to position stuff differently. I move some stuff. I retry, see if the fight plays out differently. I'm like, okay, if I move the units this way, the focus of the enemy team will tilt more towards this side, blah, blah, blah. You try different combination. And if you still can't figure it out or fix it, then you say, okay, the issue is my team is dying too quickly. What can I do? Should I pull for a unit that will draw aggro from the enemy or just stay in the front line and survive? So a tank unit. Should I invest in my links so that the units will have higher stats and survive a lot more easily? And you start to reason of what options you have and then decide on the best investment possible for your situation. That's what I usually do. That's what I usually recommend. If you use resources when you're not stuck, then you are one, investing on stuff you don't even know if you will ever need. And two, and this is true, especially for the loot boxes here, you will get less return on the amount, like on the on the boxes because they do scale with AFK loot that in turn scale with adventure progression. So progress as much as you can without using those. When you're stuck, you can start opening them if you see that the reason is your links are too low, then sure, open them, but just enough to get to the next threshold. And then you start pushing again until you're stuck. And you keep doing this over and over again. This will make sure that while you might not get the best value out of your boxes, because obviously waiting for 30 floors, 40 floors will give you the best return on those boxes, but at least it will guarantee that you can keep on pushing, keep on getting resources, and have enough to push or to pull for new units and those banners that I mentioned before. So there is a both of a win and like pros and cons of every strategy, but I would say definitely do not open them randomly when you don't need stuff. Only open things when you actually are stuck. That's my recommendation. Same goes for the boxes to select units. You are stuck, you're like, okay, I need to get a Zahard to survive because this guy has invincibility. I need the frontline unit that survives. Cool. Open the box, get Zahard. Or the same with Mashini, they more or less serve the same purpose, and that's about it. Do I need a specific copy of an SSR unit to get a certain threshold? Like for example, this chicken is 2 red. Do I need the 3 red for the extra damage of my DPS is only 2 red? I do. Then I select the chicken and get him to 3 red. This is just an example to say use resources when you know what you are lacking so that you can fix that. This is my recommendation, guys. And that should also be what I wrote here, right? Yes, exactly. And that's about it, I would say. The next point is how to improve a team building and positioning. And the first thing is that teams will revolve around your DPS. So you kind of want to build supports that boost the damage of the DPS or their survivability. One of the two or both of them, hopefully. That would be better. And yeah, just build a team around them. Synergy, like color synergy, is quite impactful early on because you don't have many ways to change your stats and increase your base stats. But later down the line, at later stages, like elemental synergy doesn't really mean much. You can run one unit of every color and you should still be fine. Obviously, look at elemental disadvantage, look at all those things, but the actual bonus from having 3 units of the same color doesn't matter that much later on. Early on, additional stats that you don't have many ways of getting, so sure, but later on doesn't really matter that much. And in terms of positioning and which kind of units go well with what, uh, it's tricky to say. There are some that are really obvious, but others not that much. Your best bet is just seek out for help on my Discord server or in the comment section. We can try to provide you with some ideas. I'm also working on adding some recommendation of units that every unit works well with. So I'm planning on adding on my investment tab a column for like some specific key information on that unit. Like this unit actually needs 100% resistances to work properly. This unit needs 62%, like in the case of Ren. I'm going to do a guide for Ren soon since I'm recommending him for the non-stop summon, but yeah, okay, that's out of the scope now. So there are some requirements for unit, and I'm also going to add the recommendation like this unit works well with Hiwa, this unit works well with BAM, etc., etc. So that you also can have an idea of which units like work well in the same team. This is what I'm planning on doing. And regarding positioning is more or less the same thing I said before. Just when you're kind of struggling, try to move units here and there, move the DPS in the front line, move the tanks in the back line, because enemy units will have different kind of targeting. And until you figure that out and you understand all of these aspects of the game, try to move things randomly and then check how the flow of the battle changes. And you will figure out stuff along the way, I would say. Then how do I get more Suspendium? This is covered already by Archer Q's guide, but mainly you clear adventure stages, you watch tutorials of every piece of content. There is often just a question mark. Like if we click on a unit, there is a question mark here. You look all these tabs and claim the Suspendium. That's pretty much it. Then you push Trial of Chaos. That's going to provide you suspendium and tickets, pretty good. And then you just unlock as many units as you can. For every unit you go in the codex, and you will have, okay, here is kind of stuck. You'll have here like 100 suspendium to claim when it's a new unit. Then the other big ways are proficiency 8 will give you a total of like what, 600? Yeah, 600 suspendium. And then you get rapport. Rapport 7 will give you a shit ton of suspendium as well. So use those resources here and there, just get the additional suspendium to then use for pools. So yeah, that's pretty much the main ways to get that. Which exclusive equipment should I level up first? So first, always go for your carries. So let's say you have Hiwa, you want to level her exclusive equipment first. You need 300 of the respective uh, like maths for that tier. So you will need a specific math from +0 to +10, another one from +10 to +20, and then from +20 to 30. So you can level up multiple units. Like once Hiwa has gotten to +10, you can start another one and get another unit to +10. You first want to go for DPS units that you actually use. After those are done, you can work on frontline units that do require exclusive equipment to survive, like a Karaka. And after that is done as well, you can move on to supports. This is the order I would usually go for. And that's pretty much it. I would say not much to it. If you need more information, let me know. Which ignition weapons should I farm? This is also covered again in the Archer Q's guide. I would say first set you want to go for is an L with Magic Pierce on slot 5 and crit damage on slot 4. Not that mandatory that you get good resistances, or sorry, not good resistances, good stats early on. And especially remember, you can always use the preset function to share sets between units. After a team wins a fight in a multi-deck battle, just move the set from that unit to the other. So for example, Hiwa wins the fight, I move this whole set. So I create a preset. I will call it, in this case, it's already called L-MP for Magic Pierce. Let's say Hiwa wins. I go to Evankel and just say, okay, cool. I will give her the set that Hiwa was using. This is pretty much the thing. You want to go for first one L set with these kind of stats. And second, you want to go for a Sela or Sandens. Mostly Sela will help you boost your survivability a lot early on. The main stats don't really matter at that point. You get 30% resistance for free. You could go resistance main stat in both, so you already get 100% resistances super early on, but that's entirely up to you. That will help a ton just making your team survive, and it's going to be super beneficial. If you're running a unit like Evankel and want to run Sela just to help survive until that first special move, you can run Magic Resistance slot 4 and Magic Pierce slot 5. That could be a good option for Evankel. She really needs the extra damage to destroy the whole enemy team. And this is pretty much it, I would say, also for ignition weapons. You should just focus on L and Sela early on. By farming L, you're also going to get Runda pieces. You don't need to level those up. You can just give 4 pieces to your supports when they get the exclusive to +20, and you will already get benefits from the 4-piece effect alone. Last point is, in which order should I level the resources in the astrolabe? And for this one, my priority is first, you want to go with Link XP. That's the most important one because this astrolabe system boosts the AFK loot, and AFK loot is the main source of Link XP. That's why that's the first one you want to max. The second one you want to max is coins because they get the highest increase here, though the source of them in the AFK loot is pretty disappointing. But Shinsu is even more disappointing. So that's the only reason why I'm keeping this order. And if you see here, you will see that Link XP is really a shit ton if it loads. Let's hope so. It's kind of stuck, whatever. So again, Link XP, most important, is the main source of your AFK loot is the main source of your Link XP. The way I would go about leveling it up is not like go to 20, 0, 0. No, I would just start like keep Link XP at 2 times the level of coins and coins at 2 times the level of Shinsu. So get like Link XP to 5, coins to 2, Shiso 2.1, then 10, 5.2, 15, 7.3, something like that, so that you gradually use your resources because they really skyrocket in price as you unlock more and more. Like for example, it took me quite some time to load that page and I'm already out, but you saw the values like 95,000 link XP per minute and Shinsu was like 100 an hour. So shit, really, really low. I don't know why it's kind of this laggy at the moment, but yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. If you have questions on the Astrolabe, let me know because the game is not really uh, going quickly enough. Okay, no, finally it loaded. I should probably close it. I think it's open for like more than 10 hours, so it's okay. Really, really frozen. It's fine, guys. Who cares? And it also crashed, so that's it. And I would say, guys, this is the end of this video. Thankfully, it didn't crash earlier. And let me know if you have any additional questions. I will be more than glad to add them to this spreadsheet. And yeah, that's about it. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please drop a like, subscribe to my channel, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.